How do a person go from the military, working for the government, to smoking weed, traveling around the world? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to share with you exactly how I transitioned in my first time using cannabis. And if you've been watching the channel, you've been seeing me go through Johannesburg, showing you how beautiful of a city this is, how great of a country this is here, man. And like when I tell you some of the most beautiful, cleanest airs I've been in is here in Joburg, South Africa. And most importantly, you've been seeing me talk to you about success, what it is, and how to get it in the three areas of life that I focus on, which are happiness, health, and wealth. And so, if you've been having to watch the channel, Definition of Success by Earl Nightingale is the progressive realization of a worthy idea. And what's more worthy than just traveling the world, living your dreams, and having fun while doing it? And so that's why I wanted to really share with you today. Why did I start using marijuana? Like most people see me now as this Jason. They know I always use marijuana. I'm usually high, but why am I this way? Most people don't know that. So let's go ahead and dig into the story. So believe it or not, I actually didn't start using marijuana until I was about 26 years old. By that time, I was out of the military, and I was starting to have a whole lot of medical issues, meaning I was already starting to severely get overweight. I couldn't keep my weight under control, but I was having more severe issues, severe body pain, joint pain. I had my spinal fusion at that time already. And so with that, I was having a hard time walking and everything like that. And on top of that, I was having mental health issues from the war. Like we can all understand that going to war is not something that's normal. So you would expect someone to have some kind of issues coming home from that, even though they may physically look well. And so, because I was battling with all those issues, like at that time too, I was on over 40 prescription pills a day for pain management and just health management. Like nothing was helping me. My life wasn't improving, and I remember clearly because I was on a CPAP machine at that time to breathe at night. Like I couldn't sleep at night. If I got about 2 hours or 3 hours of sleep, that was a good night for me. And I remember how horrible that felt, like waking up every day, like because you're waking up because you're in pain so much. Like one of the things like people don't explain, like I don't know, because not so many people can talk about how they really feel, especially when they have surgeries, things like this, and when it's coming to fusions, because they're in pain 24/7. The reason why I'm able to talk about this now is because I'm not living a life of pain 24/7. I'm living a really nice life. And because of the way that I use marijuana consistently in my life, and how from my personal research into it, like I live a very, very good life, man. Like I'm telling you, most people do not get to live the level of comfort that I live. And it's because I put in a lot of work and a lot of research figuring this stuff out. And so when you talk to someone, especially if you talk to someone with any type of spinal fusion or any type of screws inside their body, like once you get screws inside your body, man, like any little bit of change in the weather, it affects you and it hits you hard. You feel it a lot worse than the average person because once that screw gets cold, that area, that sensitivity goes straight to the nerves in your spine, your bones, whatever those screws are. Like it's in a sensitive area. Like it's not, the movies and stuff make these things look easy, but I'm telling you, as someone who have 10 screws in his back. Like, even now, like, that's one of the reasons, like, I'm going to be leaving Joburg every winter because the cold really affects it. It makes a big difference in my mobility and how I can get around. But think about that. I'm only experiencing because it's extreme cold for me. Like, most an average person that has spinal fusions, they're dealing with this on a daily basis, man. Like even in nice weather. So like this is how deep this is. And like when you're in that level of constant pain, like not very many people understand where you're coming from. So like I remember what it felt like. Like I can say that with a smile on my face now, but that smile is because I couldn't even dream where the way I'm living now was even possible. And so because I was in that much pain and I was in that much of a state, like I was desperate. I was desperate for just trying to figure out like how to live, man. Like I something got to give me some type of comfort of life because At that point, I was actually suicidal. Most people around me didn't even know it because every day it was just a pain. It was a pain to go to sleep. It was a pain to wake up. It was a pain to just lay there. Like I started feeling like it was just painful for me to exist in this world anymore. And so suicide was actually looking like a really good option. And thankfully enough, other things came into fruition, and that just took that off of the table. And then I had to go all in because I had to figure out a way to live again. And from that state, that's when I first found about marijuana. And I started researching it, watching documentaries. Then I started getting papers from different doctors and things like that, finding some of the old books that was some of the old research in it. And I even started studying some documentaries and some doctors in Israel because they were doing a lot of medical marijuana treatments there, and it was legal the way that they were doing it there. Because remember, time it wasn't the same time as now where everything's legal, everybody's open. Like at that time, you was a criminal, and so I was researching, and then once I came to the conclusion that I couldn't find any research of there ever being anybody ever to be able to overdose on cannabis because also our bodies naturally produce endocannabinoids in our endocannabinoid system. Once I started figuring that out and understanding it deeper, like I started testing on myself. So first thing I went to Colorado. We had drove overnight. Horrible decision, man. It was a horrible decision to make that drive because if you've ever drove out of Texas, your longest part of your ride is getting out of Texas. Literally, it took us maybe, man, from Dallas, it took us, because we didn't know where we were going, so it wasn't like we were comfortable driving it at the time. It took us over 12 hours to get out of Texas. And then by the time we got out, it was so dark. We were in New Mexico, which is just desert, so it was just pitch dark. And that was, that's scary driving in that type of darkness. So we stopped and got a hotel. But we were literally like 3 hours away from where we were going in Colorado. And we was like after all that driving, the longest part was just getting out of Texas, man. It was crazy. And so went to Colorado, tried marijuana, I smoked a joint. To the people they talked to me, they was real nice, real good people, man. Like they really made me feel comfortable with it. And they wasn't coming at it like a drug or just a money grab. So that was really helpful. And they gave me some recommendations. Smoked a joint when I got back to my hotel, and man, I slept. I remember that day like yesterday. I woke up so refreshed from that nap. It was like I've been dying for that. I've been screaming for that nap for like years, man. And when I finally I just woke up and I had a lot of energy. We went to a Mexican restaurant and ate because I had munchies. And then from that day on, man, haven't stopped using marijuana. Now I use it a whole lot more now. I definitely don't just smoke a joint. And then from my research, when I moved to Central America, living in Panama, because where we were at, like, and I was able to get large quantities of marijuana for a decent price. I was able to experiment a lot. So I started experimenting how to extract it, put it into different forms. What's the best way to consume it? Which for me, I found out if you want to get medicinal properties, you should eat it. But then I started seeing, okay, what's the cleanest way to get it out in edible form without having to use too much sugars, animal fats. And so that's why I figured out how to mix it with coconut oil, things like that. And this is what I use today, man. I even make it here in South Africa. Like this is my can oil that I use and make. Look how beautiful it look, man. Like that beautiful green color. Like, and I cook it in everything. So every time I'm cooking, I just take like a tablespoon or a teaspoon. Well, I take a dollop. Let me be honest. I take a lot, and I just throw it in my food and just eat with it. Like right now, I'm finna make some gnocchi. I'm gonna boil. I had the water boiling, so once that boil off, I'm gonna throw the gnocchi in there for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. Drain them off the water. Then I'm gonna saute them, do a little pan skillet fry, and some of the can oil right here, and then I'm gonna just eat that with some soup. Like simple, man. Like that's how, and the soup is already infused with it. I had sauteed all the veggies in it first in the can of oil, then just added the seasonings, the water, let it simmer for an hour, and like that's just it. And like it's such an easy way to use it and consume it. And the thing I like about it is it's like it's not a sugar high, nothing like that. Like when eating different sweets or space muffins and space cake, you get to control how much you want in there. Like if there's a day like I'm like you know what, I didn't take enough. I want to take some more. I just go make some popcorn, get some popcorn kernels, put it on the stove, melt the oil on there, throw in the kernels, let them pop up, and then just eat it. Like so simple, but you'd be shocked how this help you, man. Like what this did for me in my long term health, like it gave me a second chance at life. So like that's why for me, like I'm a big advocate for cannabis because I want people to understand like the medicinal values of it. Like even while I'm doing this video right now, I'm high. Like I've ate a lot of it. I'm gonna eat some more later. And this is just showing you like when you're feeling good, you don't care like how you got to feel good. Like so many people out there, and I was one of those included, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't, I probably wasn't as anti-marijuana as others, but I sure as heck wasn't listening to any of the medicinal properties. I thought it was people who just wanted to get high and have an excuse to do it legally, and I was wrong because of this and learning about that plant, learning how to use it and what it can do for my body. Like I'm sitting in front of you today and I'm not dead, and I'm telling you, like I was right there on death's door. Like I was in a very bad condition. You don't get the 600 plus pounds and you living a great life. Like it was miserable, man. And I'm thankful for this. And that's one of the reasons why I'm a big advocate for it. And I just wanted to really share that story because so many people see me where I'm at right now, but they don't really know how much research and knowledge that I started understanding about this. So, like, I don't look at cannabis as just a recreational thing. I look at it from a medicinal standpoint, and I'm going to always be out here and being an advocate for the plant-based medicines because you may not be getting the results from prescription pills like I wasn't. And so this may be something that you need. So I just want to let you know, like, look, there are people out here like me that are using this for medicinal purposes only, and we're still over here able to function businesses. I'm still doing my online marketing, still showing up for my commitment of doing a video each and every day. Like this shows you like this doesn't impair you. And I also want to show people the image of, it's not just little kids that's smoking weed. Like there's grown adults who are taking care of business that are using marijuana, and there's nothing wrong with that, man. We got to start normalizing this. Like if we're still going to allow people to smoke openly with cigarettes that knowing secondhand cigarette smoke causes cancer and this cures it, like we got to start making this normal too. And the only way it's going to happen is people start telling their story. So like I can't expect other people to start telling their story if I'm not telling mine. So I'm Jason and I consume marijuana on a daily basis. But just wanted to share that with you, man. Hit the like button if you like this type of content. If you want to know more information about cannabis and things like that, let me know and I'll do more videos like this. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. That way you can see daily videos like this that are updated. And sometimes I do more videos than one a day. And also share this with others, guys. We're in the 2023 era. This is the era of social media. Also the era of digital information. Information is power now. So the more we share, the more we collaborate, the more we helping others. And just remember, guys, I'm Jason, and success is simple once you know how.